4th. I hope y'all are having a fantastic week so far. It is Thursday in Louisiana. It's a big day because our governor, John Bel Edwards, is supposed to later today officially sign us into phase 2 of the stay-at-home order and reopening our state from the coronavirus threat that we have all collectively been facing together. So that's exciting. Hopefully we'll move into a new phase with fewer restrictions and ultimately hoping that is a great step forward where we don't have any unintended consequences of any kind of resurgences or anything like that as far as outbreaks go. Today in history, 1919, the year that my grandfather was born, was also the year on 1919 on June 4th when the Senate passed the women's suffrage bill. So that was a huge deal, granting women officially from the government standpoint the right to be able to vote. So that was a huge moment in 1919, the year that my grandfather on my mom's side was born. When you look at the world and everything that's going on today, some people feel like they don't have a voice because their opinion isn't the most primary opinion, and plenty of people out there have already shared just about everything that should be shared. There are some people that, for whatever reason won't speak up. There are some people out there that, for whatever reason, will speak up. But then there are people, and it's a unique situation, and it's a cultural phenomenon where there are people that really don't belong in a specific conversation. They really don't add anything to the conversation, but they feel this compulsion, this need to then weigh in on what's going on. And so they will just echo or parrot whatever the primary voice is at the time. It's called virtue signaling. And so it's when you get online and you condemn something that's clearly condemnable, as if you don't share that, then the world won't know that you also are a good person. And so psychologically, that's kind of the process that goes on behind some of these things with not with everybody. A lot of people have voices that matter in different conversations and have a need or a right or a responsibility, whatever it is, to speak into certain things. But then there are people that just want to fit in. They just want you to know that they're on your side, or that they're a good person. And there's a deep-seated need in all of us as human beings. And here's why virtue signaling even exists, right? Because again, virtue signaling it's like getting on and getting on the internet and saying, oh my gosh, killing puppies is so terrible. I do not believe in killing puppies. Killing puppies should be outlawed. Like, clearly, right? There's no need for you to get online and say that. But because it comes from a place psychologically and internally where we feel like we want to be a part of something. We want to be a part of something. And us as human beings, we have this need to belong. It's why, and look, you can go, tattoos, people get matching tattoos, right? Like, and that goes from like hardened criminal prison gangs all get matching tattoos so you know that you belong in that gang, to like sorority girls that all get the matching tattoos so they know they're in a sisterhood together, right? Like, so it's from one extreme to the other, but like matching tattoos are a way for people to identify each other, to feel like they belong to something special. They belong to a group. We do it with colors, right? We do it with colors. It's why sports teams pick colors and organizations pick colors, right? Because when you put on the black and gold, you're a Saints fan. Or for me, when you put on red and blue, you're a Louisiana Tech Bulldog, right? And so we wear colors that we match each other. So when you go into the stands, everybody's wearing the same colors. Or if you're walking, if you're walking to the dome and the Saints are playing the Falcons and everybody's wearing their black and gold, and you see that red jersey, man, you know they're going to catch it because they don't belong. They don't fit, right? We do it with colors, we do it with uniforms, whether it's sports uniforms or, it's why companies, trust Cintas, right? So that, when you pull up to the window, when you walk into that business, when you talk to that service person, that they're trustworthy, that they're reputable because they belong to something. We do it with insignias, we do it with logos. There are all kind of different ways that we use and things that we use as indicators of belonging. And those indicators of belonging are really, for us, they're evidence of who we are. So the indicator of belonging is really just an evidence of who we are. And so when we start to look at church, when we start to look at Christians, it can be hard to say what those indicators are, right? What are the indicators of a Christian, right? Because you can't go off of, you can't go off of a lot of things, right? You can't go off of colors. You can't go off of, tattoos. You can't go off of a specific uniform or a specific insignia or logo. None of those things really, truly can define who is a Christian, who belongs to that group, right? And so when you look and you ask, if you Google, how can you spot a Christian or can you tell if someone's a Christian? Some of the most common answers that come up are, well, they go to church, right? Christians go to church, but not everybody that goes to church is a Christian. And not all Christians go to church, whether that's good or bad. Not all Christians go to church, and not everybody that goes to church is a Christian. It says that, people say, oh, they read their Bible. Well, again, not all Christians read their Bible. Probably a good thing to do, but not all Christians do that. And not everybody that reads the Bible is a Christian. Well, they pray. Again, it's the same thing. Prayer is an incredible and vital part of our relationship with God, but not everybody that prays is a Christian, and not all Christians, sadly, pray. Wholesome living, honestly, and these are answers that you see. Wholesome living, right? Good behavior. They act like a Christian. They act like a good person. That's not what we see in the Bible as an indicator of a Christian. There are plenty of what appear to be good people that aren't inherently righteous at all, actually. And there were plenty of people that were scumbags that, gave their life to Christ and were in a process of being renewed and restored and regenerated and becoming, the Bible word is sanctification, right? It's a journey and a process of becoming pure through the work of the Holy Spirit inside of us. For some people, the indicator of being a Christian is they post those pictures of Obi-Wan Kenobi and say, if you don't share this, you must be ashamed of Jesus, because, Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars looks like Jesus. So if you're not on social media and you're not reposting, then little Sally's going to, die of leukemia because you didn't repost, and Jesus isn't going to hear that prayer unless he gets 1,000 likes, right? There's some crazy ideas of what a Christian looks like. Some of them absolutely just ridiculous. Some of them are, honestly, things that we as Christians should be doing, and if we're in a growing relationship with Jesus Christ, will be doing, but they aren't exclusively indicators. But in John chapter 13, Jesus gives us an indicator of somebody that's a Christian, somebody that's a follower of his. So these are followers of Jesus. These are Christians. And it's crazy because he really only gives one. Jesus gives one indicator for the world to know that we are Christians. He's talking to his disciples. And in John chapter 13, verse 34, he says this: a new command, which, inherently wasn't a new command. This wasn't anything new, that we love one another. But Jesus says, look, a new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you. That's a new part. As I have loved you, so you must also love one another. By this, all men will know that you're my disciples, if you love one another. I'm going to read it one more time. A new command I give to you, love one another as I have loved you, so that you must love one another. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Guys, man, if we want people to know that we are a Christian, if we are going to have any kind of indicator at all, there's one indicator that Jesus gives us that is the marker of for the world to be able to see who we are, and it's the evidence, not just that we belong to the church, not just that we belong in Christianity in this religion, but the evidence of who we are is that we love one another. It's that. That's it. It's simple. It's plain. It's clear. It's not always easy because love requires sacrifice. However, it is the way that people are going to know that we are followers of Jesus. So I want to encourage you guys, go be a follower of Jesus today. Let the indicator that he has given us be the thing that is the marker of who you are, the thing that truly defines you. It doesn't matter, look, your theology is important. What you believe about God is important. If you're spending time in church, if you're spending time in prayer, if you're reading the Bible, those things are important, but they are not the evidence of who you are. The evidence that God lives inside of you, that the Holy Spirit is working in you, that you are a follower of Jesus, is how we love one another. So go love other people today. Be a radical change. Be a stark contrast in this world. And let people see that the love of Jesus absolutely can and will transform the world that we live in. I love you guys.